again then, guys, for another episode of Empower Online. We've had a couple of weeks off, but we are back now, and I'm very pleased to be speaking to our podcast sponsor, Nest Management, who I've been with for over 10 years now, I believe. So we've got Louisa and Victoria from Nest, and we're going to have a little conversation about Nest, what they do, how they do it, and kind of all things martial arts and business related. So, Louisa and Victoria, hi guys, how are you?
Hi, Dan. Yeah, we're good. Thank you very much for having us on.
No, thank you so much for coming on. It's really important, I think, to get you guys on because you work with so many martial arts kind of clubs around the UK. You've really got your finger on the pulse of like what's happening in martial arts and different styles and what kind of challenges different clubs are facing and what the good points are as well. So, how did Nest Management start? Can you give us like a little bit of a brief overview about what Nest does to begin with, how it started, how its inception began, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So we've been around 26 years now. We started in the year 2000.
Yeah.
And it was conceived basically by Gerard, RMD, who is absolutely passionate and mad about Wadaroo karate. He was director at Boots Opticians, left there and then brought his amazing expertise and wisdom to start this company, Nest, to basically because his own experience of martial arts and the payment structure. So we started off just as a payment collector really by direct debit. He saw the pain points for clubs back then that weren't using direct debit and just decided to use the tools that he had to create his own system for martial arts clubs. And I think his ethos right from the beginning was to basically professionalise martial arts across the board. So obviously back then when he was training, which would have been 35 years ago, it was quite a different landscape to what it is now.
A little bit, yeah. You're thinking school halls, cash in hand, give you a fiver, a couple of quid, done. Yeah.
Yeah, biscuit tin scenario. So
yeah, I remember it well.
And I think just the general confidence levels of teachers of martial arts back then was not what it is today. People didn't see themselves as professionals. They didn't always want to see themselves as professionals, and definitely didn't have the confidence to. So I think Gerard really wanted to bring that deserved title to them and help them appreciate that they are making such a huge impact to their communities and to life that they should actually be financially rewarded for that.
Yeah. And also financially stable as well. I know a kind of big thing around is stabilising cash flow, so that knowing that moving from that like we joke like the biscuit tin, not knowing who's turning up each week.
Sure.
Could be anything, things slope off in the summer and boost up in January, but actually how you can kind of know what's going on through the year, standardise that, make it a little bit easier so you know where you're going really.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's really interesting. I think hopefully it's changed now, but I think that terms of professionalism, like it used to be seen as a bit of a bad thing if you made money from martial arts. I know that I've experienced that a couple of times. It was like, oh, it should just be that your passion, you shouldn't get charged, you shouldn't charge for it, blah, blah, blah. But obviously you guys are kind of setting the standard in terms of, oh, you should make a good living if you're teaching good stuff. Other sports, they do exactly the same thing. They make a good living. The more that you become a professional unit, I suppose, the more you can invest in your own training then, invest in your students, invest more time in kind of class planning, etc., and really deep diving into that martial arts rather than having to go to a 9 to 5 job, come back, run a kids class at 5:30 when you're tired, then run an adult class, then another adult class, and you're getting burned out. So, yeah, so that professionalisation is super important.
I actually think martial arts is... I've been exploring different sports over the last year, and I actually think martial arts clubs are way ahead of the game in terms of professionalism and being an enterprise outfit. And not all of our clients are enterprise outfits. Lots of them are charities, community services. So, you still need systems, processes, ways to collect fees. But I say to clients all the time, I mean, I don't know, Dan, if you've seen some of our adverts out there, pretty much all of them will be trolled at some time by someone saying, you're not a real martial artist if you need business processes.
Yeah.
But I think it's that thing, like, if you're gonna, yes, there's a side of it to make money, to give you a decent living, to allow you to support your family and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I find that sometimes where the almost taboo comes in is when it's that idea of growth.
Yeah.
Whereas actually it's, yes, there's growth because you want to earn more, and if that's how it is, that's fine. But also if that's not your ethos, grow more for the sake of the fact that your club grows, your club gets bigger, you can teach more people, you can influence more people's lives, you can give more children the amazing life skills that martial arts does.
Exactly.
That's another way to grow, and that's just as important as from a financial perspective, but actually the way that you do that is very similar, and it's whether are you taking that money as an increased income, or are you actually putting all of that money back into the club. So like we have some quite sizable clubs that are completely not for profit.
Yeah.
Actually, they're constantly making that club bigger and bigger and bigger because they're investing in more classes to get more students in there to have a bigger impact in their communities.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that the community side of what martial arts does is like underrated quite a lot in terms of what it does for especially the kids' development, the kids' confidence, stuff like that. And, you know, even adults. Someone said to me, one of my students said the other day that adults don't get tested enough, I don't think now, or they don't get to push themselves enough and get kind of, you know, that kind of, I need to set a goal now to do something. Maybe they go to the gym, but sometimes that can get a little bit dull and you're just working out on your own. But yeah, one of my students was like, I really just like the idea of setting a goal for myself every 3 months to grade, or whether to go in for a fight, or whether to compete, or do this. And then you kind of reverse engineer it to what you need to do. And so you don't get a lot of that as adults. You just go to work and then get into your daily droll of routine of, okay, I need to do this, need to do that. And then the days become weeks, the weeks become months, etc. But he said, no, it's a nice little break up. So I think that community impact is huge for what it does for people's physical and mental health. So absolutely, it's an important thing, I think. Yeah. So you said you've been around since 2000. How long have you guys been operating at Nest? So Louisa, you first.
I've been here 19 years. We'll be big 2-0 next year.
Yeah.
So I only came to cover maternity leave.
And then here you are.
And I've been here just over 4 years now.
Okay,
so,
perfect.
So I'm leading the marketing team now and looking after all that side of things. But yeah, it feels like it's gone in the blink of an eye, to be honest.
Done. Yeah. And what changes have you guys seen then, in terms of like the past 4 years for you, Victoria, and the past 19 for you, Louisa, like in terms of the martial arts landscape, or in terms of how people are kind of dealing and changing with the martial arts?
I think for me, in the last kind of few years, it's definitely been a change in people's attitudes. I mean, I'm always going to look at it from the marketing perspective,
yeah,
I suppose,
of course,
because that's kind of the lens that I'm seeing most things through. But I'm definitely seeing that people are seeing more of the value of marketing. I don't know if that's kind of related to the economic situation that we're in at the moment, but actually seeing the fact of, if I do put some time and effort and some investment into that marketing, I'm going to see that come back. It's going to pay.
Sure.
Seeing kind of the real sort of benefit of consistency with marketing.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that. I think a few years ago, when I was first starting and kind of talking and advising people, it was very much, we've always worked on referrals, it's been fine, that fills the club, it's okay. Whereas actually now people are seeing, well, if I do a little bit of Facebook advertising, if I build those relationships with the local schools, like if all those sort of things that come together, actually the more touch points they've got, the more value they're getting out of that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be things that are high cost or high time sort of drain. It's coming up with a mix that works, that helps them. But I've definitely seen people get more savvy, I suppose, is probably the thing. Like, definitely people are, when I'm suggesting things, like, we've thought about that, we've seen that, whereas a few years ago, then I don't think marketing was on people's minds quite so much.
It blew their mind, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, similar to what Vic says, there's more of a less reluctance to latch on to professionalism, as it were. So whereas 20 years ago I'd speak to guys all the time, they were quite happy operating the way they used to. I think now, even though they're still not comfortable with it, they realise that it has to be done. So if they're not comfortable with it, they'll get someone else to do it for them, which is nice. It's good that there's that acceptance. But maybe on the flip side, I've seen 3 financial crises now in the UK.
Yeah.
And the first two didn't seem to bother the martial arts market. I think we just sailed through it, and there was never a dip in sign-ups. This one, I feel, has hit us a bit harder. And I think I'm seeing a change in the economic landscape rather than the martial arts landscape. But I think it's affecting the martial arts industry more than it ever has done.
Why do you think that is? Have you got kind of a theory around that?
I think there's a lot more competition for martial arts clubs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more cheap alternatives to activities. I think martial arts is dirt cheap for what it is and for the impact that it provides.
Yeah.
But for a parent that's paying, I think there's a lot more now for their kids to do where they don't have to take them out to activities.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot more out there on the market. You know, social media, you've got everything you ever need to see at your fingertips.
Yeah.
There's things that you wouldn't even have thought of trying that are coming up in front of your face now and being advertised to you. So there's a lot more distraction than there ever was. But I just think the general money in our pocket, you know, I speak to a lot of people now who actually do really well for themselves, who get to the end of the month and are clinging on by their fingertips.
Just a few more days. Yeah.
Just a few more, exactly. And so I think buying behaviour is just, there's just a lot more thought process that has to go to it. I think clubs are having to work harder.
I completely agree, yeah. To get students and then to retain them as well, because, you know, I think...
The retention side, we've actually seen has been really steady.
Okay.
Yeah, I think once people are training, they see the value in it.
Yeah.
Just as much as they ever have done. If anything, retention's actually increased by probably 0.5%, which sounds like nothing, but across thousands and thousands of students, it's powerful. So luckily, people still see the value in it. It's just getting them there, getting them over the line to experience the value.
It shows the importance of retention as well. Like the idea that actually it is harder to get people. That's definitely something we're seeing over the past few months. Is that it's harder to get people will book a trial, but it's hard to get them to come and attend that trial. If they've attended it, it's hard to get them to sign up. So then actually making sure that you've got a decent process in place, that the people you've got, I think when we're looking at it economically, a family, if they can see that their child is going to martial arts once or twice a week, they're absolutely loving it, they see how much confidence it's giving them. That old kind of thing that the newspapers always roll out, like you're going to keep that and chop off your weekly takeaway, aren't you? Because you see the value of it. Whereas actually, if you haven't seen that value and you've not come to add something into your outgoings, it's difficult. So I think it just shows how important retention is keeping those students that you've got, because they are harder to attain.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're going to talk a little bit about retention in a bit and some strategies that you guys have kind of passed down to other martial arts school owners. When you start speaking to club owners then, what's some of the most common problems that you see that keep kind of cropping up again and again, really, in terms of things they may be struggling with? Or I know consistency is a big one for me, and we just mentioned that in the marketing. That's a huge thing for me because I reactively market, I think. I go, oh, I've lost a couple of members, I better do some marketing, rather than proactively. I know, sorry, that's me. Yeah.
It's easy done, and I completely get it.
Yeah, I'm getting better, but...
if it helps, it's if you're talking like digital marketing and Facebook and things like that, you will see a better cost per lead. If you're consistent, it'll be cheaper. That's kind of my thing that I will always say to try and entice people.
Just leave the ads running. Just let them go. So what are some of the most common problems I think that martial arts school owners come to you with in the beginning?
Oh, it's time, isn't it? Time and money, the two biggest ones. But oddly enough, being the boss, I think is a really important pain point that we kind of overlook. It feels like this extravagant, privileged place to be, but actually it's quite lonely and completely time draining. So I think one of the biggest things we see with clubs is burnout, overwhelm. You know, they're grafting and not seeing as much progression as they would like to, or as they probably deserve to. So, yeah, I think fatigue.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you say, that idea that they're keeping going, and I think necessarily they didn't go into running a club to be a business person that's looking after the finances and looking after the communication and marketing and doing the admin of the contract for the hall that they're hiring or the place that they're renting.
Sure.
You go into these sorts of things with the idea of, I'm going to teach lessons and it's going to be amazing and I'm going to teach all these people, and actually then I can completely see where the frustration comes, where you don't actually have as much time to do that as what you want because you're bogged down in all that admin side of it.
Yeah, you wear so many hats as a school owner, I think. Like one day, you know, talking to parents or doing the admin and doing that, so you kind of front of house. Then you're teaching the classes. Then you're sorting out your lease or you're sorting out your rented property, like you said. Then you're trying to sort out this problem, next problem. Then there's so many different hats that you have to wear. And I think it can get quite lonely, as you say. If there's, especially if you're a smaller operation, maybe you don't have people to kind of delegate to, and it's all based on you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Increasing costs is a big thing at the moment. So lots of clubs I'm speaking to, they've had rent and leases massively increased.
Yeah.
Business tax, things like that. That's something
Yeah.
that
Small business relief going and things. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not an easy time, is it? But, no, it's not an easy time for it. What about the admin or operational mistakes then? Do you think martial arts schools they kind of make that quietly hold them back, perhaps?
It's a difficult one for us to answer because the only ones that we see, we try and take the admin burden off them.
Yeah.
So, in terms of fee collection,
Yeah.
payment collection, writing to the customers, price increases, suspension, that's kind of the stuff. That's our bread and butter, right?
Sure.
So we don't really see that. But certainly from prospects, that's their number one pain point. I mean, we've just been talking about it, having to do all that admin is the teaching on the mats is the cherry on the cake, and it's only a tiny part of the job, isn't it?
Sure.
The admin and the license management and the grading management and the certificates and the team management and the volunteers and the coaches, and it's heavy, very heavy.
Yeah. We mentioned retention a second ago then. So what do you think are some of the best retention kind of tips that you've seen that really work for martial arts school owners to kind of go, okay, I've got the person in, what I said, it's getting more tricky, but now we really want to keep them? Is it in terms of lots of communication? Is it in terms of obviously running great classes? But are there specific kind of strategies you've seen that work for retention building?
I think definitely, like you say, communication is absolutely key. I think people sometimes go towards retention with this thing of it's something I need to tick off and have a retention process.
Yeah.
When actually, like, retention should just be built into everything that you do.
Right.
Like, retention is about like the environment that the parent is sat in when they're watching their child do the class. Is it a nice environment for them to sit in, or is it a dusty chair in the side of a freezing cold hall that they don't want to be at? Because all of that, it's like the opposite when we talk about in marketing, we talk about touch points and the number of times that somebody sees your brand before they take action. It's kind of the reverse of that, in that it's what's all the teeny tiny little things that are within your club that have an impact on what people's thoughts are on the club. So I always kind of say, like, mystery shop yourself, like go in as if you were completely brand new to it and look and go, oh well, that could do with a bit of painting, or actually, right, well, I'm a bit confused what I do now, I've just come in, do I drop them here, do I do that, what do I do? And it's all that sort of idea of just maintaining a nice experience and then keeping the communication up so that the parents and the students know what to expect, know what's going on, feel part of your community. And by doing that, it naturally builds a community like ethos. And I think sometimes people think, oh, community, right, I need to run loads of events and do an awards evening and this, that and the other. And all of that's part of it, and stuff like Student of the Week keeps motivation up, and that's really nice. But you need lots of those things that are kind of the little things that all bolt together to create in this nice community. Like, I don't think you can push your way to good retention just by doing a few things. And certainly I know the clubs that I see that have the best retention figures are the ones where it's just generally a nice place to be.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting that you just said obviously good classes. Nothing trumps a good class. No amount of process that you put in, no amount of emails or automations or sweets at the end of class, or nothing.
Just for the adults,
Nothing, nothing will trump a really, really good class. If you provide really good classes that the students enjoy and they leave buzzing, that is the core of it. That's the core of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we came for to start off with, isn't it? The rest of it, like you said, Victoria, kind of bolts and add-ons, great. It's a nice environment, great. You got the communication going, you're getting events going, but also at the end of the day, they came to learn martial arts, and then, for whatever reason that is, whether it's kid or adult.
Yeah. It's all a wraparound, isn't it? It's all creating the package, but those classes have to sit at the centre of it.
Yeah.
And also, I think a big thing that gets missed, particularly with kids' classes, is And I understand that in all locations it's not possible to have the parents watching, or actually you'd rather them not be at the side of the mats because the parents can be just as disruptive as the kids.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But that idea that actually if that parent is outside of the room and they just do a drop off and a pick up, you could be delivering the best class that ever existed.
Yeah. But
we all know what it's like with kids, right? Oh, what have you done today? Oh, it was all right.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
So actually making sure, taking 2 minutes to grab that parent and be like, oh, they've had an amazing class today. Can't believe how their confidence has been like grown over the past 6 weeks, or whatever that is. Just making sure that it's there, because in the bluntest sense of the word, it's the parents that's paying.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they don't know how good your class is, then you've kind of got a disconnect between those two. So I think it's really important that you're just getting that over. And I've seen so many different ways of doing that, whether it's like just pulling them across for a couple of minutes, sending videos after class, or all sorts of different stuff. But it's just making that parent feel involved in that class if they're not already.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you nailed it there, where you just said disconnect, where there's like a separation between the two of them. And I think the more you can combine that, great, fantastic. It's even better, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of communication, is there such a thing as too much communication, do you think? Is it kind of getting to the point where people are bombarded every day with emails and messages and spam and this and this and this? So have you guys found that there's a sweet spot in communication, whether it's once a week, once a day, twice a week, etc.? Is there too much that you can, or is it more about the information that you're putting out there?
I'd say it's the information you're putting out there. So I know clubs that will be like, oh, we send an email 3 times a week on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday, or whatever that is. And it's like, well, actually, is there value in what you're saying? Because some weeks there might be so much stuff that you find out about through the week that you need to pass on, that you need an email every other day.
Absolutely.
But actually, if what you're saying isn't valid and isn't, or maybe valid is the wrong word, but isn't useful to that person that's reading it at the other end of it, you quite quickly erode that kind of trust area. Like we've all had it with, you buy from a company and you think they're great and you get your delivery and it's amazing and you love it, and you might be a repurchaser, but they send you 3 emails a day. You unsubscribe and get annoyed with it.
Switch off.
Whereas actually, if they'd have only sent you 1 email every 2 weeks, but it was something that was really relevant to you, you're going to keep involved in that. So I think it's about being timely and being relevant to what they need. And so I wouldn't say there's a sweet spot in terms of once a day, once a week. However, it's more about making sure that communication is the right communication and it's received at the right time. And just having that thought about people have got busy lives and things, and like I know people that say, oh, we're doing a social event and it's on Saturday and I sent the emails out on Monday and nobody's coming. It's like, well, you've given somebody 5 days notice.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, actually, is there something that we need somebody to take action on? We'll give them plenty of notice, send them a reminder, like, think of your own inbox behaviour. You don't read every single email immediately.
Yeah, sure.
I think you often say to clients as well, put yourself in the shoes of the customer. If you want to know the answer, how would you feel as a student receiving X number of emails a week? Would it entice you to train more? Would it entice you to stay? Me personally, I don't think it would change my martial arts experience in any way whatsoever. I enjoy going to my class. Would I enjoy it more if I had some emails throughout the week? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it depends what they are.
Do you need the email to remind you to pay for your grading in 2 weeks? Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
So it's that kind of like balance. But some people would love a weekly newsletter that tells them has a video with a new skill to try, or something like that. It's finding that balance. It's sometimes finding that balance between people. So like having something that is maybe sent to a select group, or
it depends if they're like an elite training squad or something, and you can tag them, right? So if you're using the right system, tag them, compartmentalise them. You might have some underperformers, so you might want to nurture them a little bit more, categorise them, message them a bit more. But the ones in the middle, trucking over, it's probably the communication that's targeted that's more important. So someone who hasn't trained for a couple of weeks, in which case have an automation set up so you don't have to worry about it. Track attendance. If they're not training for X number of weeks, they get an automated message. I think those are probably more important than quantity, but quality over quantity.
Definitely quality over quantity.
That is a beautiful segue into the next question about automation. So well done, Louisa. Thank you. Automation then. So obviously CRMs now, such as yours, it allows for automations in terms of when you can send your emails, send stuff out, and then as you said there, you can kind of really deep dive it and target specific areas where, okay, maybe they haven't trained in a couple of weeks, or maybe they're starting to kind of drift away, so you can nurture them back in. How important do you think that automation process is, and what are some of the most important automations that you think you need to kind of set up as a martial arts school learner for someone when they just arrive, or maybe some of your existing students that have been there for a while?
I think one thing I always preface automations with is that automations are fantastic and you want to use them, but nothing beats like personal one-to-one contact and something that a phone call that's specifically about that student or something. So I always just like to say that, because I don't think, as much as it's time saving, you don't want to get to a point where every single thing that you send out is automated and nothing is personal.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's really important. But I think the point of automations, right, is to get rid of that thing. If there's that email or that text message or whatever that you send over and over and over again, and you've got the template and you've got it saved in your phone, or you've got it saved in the outbox of like your mail provider, that's ripe for an automation. If you always, before your grading events, send an email out at certain points that covers the same information, it reminds them what time to turn up, it reminds them what to bring, they're the emails that you want to automate.
Yeah.
And then, as Lou says, the stuff that's timed, so things like, oh yeah, they've not come for 2 weeks, make that initial contact an email, because that initial contact might spur them on, and you can word that email really nicely so it appears more personal.
Sure.
Than it being an automation.
Yeah.
But using the automations kind of carefully to make sure you're putting them in a place where, it's basically just saving you the repetitive emails, but not putting loads of stuff into automations that's just there for the sake of it, I suppose.
I think people can tell as well now, can't they, with that personal touch? There's so much AI everywhere now, and you can tell when there's AI images or when something's written, like copies written by AI. You can just tell immediately, or I think a lot of people can now just tell like the way that it's written and kind of that style of writing. People can tell immediately. And I know now I just switch off. If something's written by AI, I'm done with it. So, so like you say, that personal aspect of it, of just being like, okay, I think it's super important.
I would say for me the automation quite an important part of the student journey, and one that probably does require automation as well as personal touch. Is the first 3 months.
Okay.
That first 12-week journey is so crucial, because we've seen from our data about 35% of all cancellations happen in the first 3 months.
Right.
So that's when it's most likely that a student is going to drop out. Yeah. So if you can marry that up with a really, really good welcome on the mats experience, coupled with communication to the parents, it's all new to the parents as well.
Sure.
So if you're sending those automated messages saying, by now they'll have learned this, by now they'll be a bit more proficient in this, we're building you up to the first grade, so make sure you practice this. That's really important for the parent as well, but again, like Vic says, coupled with personal touch as well.
But so you can supplement what you're doing with an automation. So like Lou says, if we're talking about a journey and it's that welcome journey, you're giving them the boring information, for want of a better word, I would say, but like what you need, what you're going to need to bring to your first lesson, then once you've had your first lesson, what they're going to happen over the next few months, all that sort of thing. But it's just taking that pressure away. There's kind of chemically in your brain, nerves and excitement are very, very similar, so it's very easy to mix the two.
Yeah.
So the idea then is that that standardised information, those facts that people need, if you're sending them through a communication, people have got them there, they can refer back to them. Yeah. That then takes away that nervousness. So that can work really, really well in, say you've got somebody that's signed up for a trial to come in a week's time. You can obviously be doing that phone call that says, we're really looking forward to seeing you. What is it you're looking to get out of the class, all that sort of thing. But the automation could be the bit that goes, well, this is our address. Actually, the best way to park is in Sainsbury's round the corner because we're quite tight for parking. But then you come up here and it's up the stairs and round the corner and whatever that is, and that's the stuff they can refer back to. That's the kind of nerve-inducing stuff, I suppose.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Continuity be damned, my internet went down last time that I was talking to Louisa and Victoria, so we are back again a couple of weeks later to finish off this very interesting interview with them from Nest Management. Thank you guys. I apologise again for the roadworks on my street. It was all going so well, and then everything went down. So, hey-ho.
No worries.
All disappeared.
We were talking last time then about marketing and kind of what you've seen working for martial arts business owners in 2026. Can you kind of, expand on what you're seeing, what's working, what kind of isn't working, what should school owners be looking at doing potentially in 2026? What's changed maybe from 2025, if anything?
I think definitely, like I think I said a bit of this previously, like it's about having a real mix of things now. Like there's never been that magic wand of that one thing that you pick that you put all your money behind and it magically works and gets you all the students you've ever wanted. But even more so now, like, yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I wish there was. But I think it is having that mix of stuff. So, like, making sure your online presence is great and meta ads and stuff are great, but certainly what we're hearing a lot of at the moment is that they're costing more, the quality of leads that's coming through those meta ads is down, the leads that you are getting, the number that actually book and come for a trial, the number that turn up is down. It's hard work. So I think it's how you supplement that sort of side of it with the other stuff. And I think things go in cycles in marketing, right? Like they always have done. And if you go back 10, 15 years, you got home from work and there was a pile of junk mail on your doormat, you picked it all up, shoved it straight in the bin, but actually when you went online you didn't see that many ads, so they resonated. Whereas now I've almost had this flip, so sometimes going back to some of those more traditional methods, I'm seeing that working really well, like people doing leaflet drops. School relationships seem to be having big impact.
That's interesting.
I can't kind of tie it down to anything.
I think involvement in the community. The people I speak to who are really doing well, they actually, some of them don't even do any marketing, just they were so well known in the community that if people are thinking about martial arts, we're the go-to place. It's just because they do so much in the community.
It's getting that brand out there, and then that reinforces it from every avenue. So if you're the one that's sponsoring the local school fair and you go and do a demo there, and then you've got your posters up in every single supermarket and you've got your branding on the side of your car and all that sort of thing, you become familiar.
Sure.
So then if somebody does search, they're far more likely to pick you as the option, rather than if they've got 3 or 4 things in front of them and they recognise your logo because they've seen it everywhere. A big part of marketing is psychology, and that recognition, you immediately feel an affiliation with something that you recognise.
Sure.
So having as many touch points as possible, even if they're minor, really, really helps, because it just builds up. And as Lou says, like, you're part of that community, you're known of, they're at such and such a place, my friend's daughter's granddaughter, whoever, or everybody, they go there, it suddenly becomes that you are the one to go to.
Yeah, that's obviously the dream, isn't it, I suppose? If you've got that brand that is instantly recognisable, that you go, okay, if you think martial arts in Newcastle, Lincoln, Manchester, and you immediately go, poof, this place, that's really what you want, isn't it? Because then you're just going to be driving traffic, like you say, whether it's going to be referrals, whether it's going to be word of mouth, whether it's going to be anything like that. So yeah, those touch points, I suppose, organic and kind of paid, I suppose. Have you seen any difference in terms of meta ads recently and Google ads, like between which one's performing better or worse, or which one people should be more investing in if they are looking at going and supplementing with a paid route?
I definitely think there's a difference in terms of number and quality of lead that's coming through. I think Meta's still providing the quantity, but that quality isn't there. I think Google, when you're looking at PPC, like the intent is there, right? On Google, somebody's actively searching for a keyword that you are paying to show your ads on. So they're searching martial arts in wherever, or kids activities, or build confidence, or whatever it is. So they're already looking for something. So you're more likely to get somebody that's engaged. They do tend to come out more expensive.
Yeah.
But then actually when you start weighing that up about, rather than looking at it as a cost per lead, you look at it as a cost per sign up.
Sure.
Are they better quality, so therefore they're turning up to a trial, they're signing up quicker, they're coming into your school, versus getting tons of leads that don't come through. And there's always going to be the good ones that are in Meta as well, but you're doing the stop scroll, you're trying to get somebody's attention who, they're not on Facebook checking their social media, maybe on a break from work, thinking, oh, I'm really hoping for an ad for martial arts to come up.
Yeah.
It's more they're doing something else and go, oh, that looks interesting, versus when they're on Google, they're going, this is actively what I'm looking for. So I think sometimes people will compare the cost and go, oh, Google's more expensive than Meta, so I'm going to go with Meta and I'm going to put all my money there.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it's really important that you look at it at the cost per sign up rather than the cost per lead, because you can find that getting leads through from Google, they're a better quality, and then obviously forward thinking, that's going to lead to more sign-ups.
I've definitely noticed that, I think, in the past maybe 6 months on Facebook, in terms of the lead quality going down a little bit, where lots of people maybe put into the lead form, give the information, and then nothing. So no matter how, like, we'll ring up, we'll text, we'll email, we'll do things like that, just saying, do you want to book in, and we get nothing back. Or they just don't turn up to classes. So it's like, yeah, so I think that's really important to distinguish between, like you said, like the lead quality of it, and then the cost per click, where you're just getting loads of leads through, great. But are they actually turning into sign-ups, or are they turning into intros for your academy? Which is really what matters, because then it's over to you to provide a great class, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then in terms of that then, so going through kind of like the student journey, that first class, what do you think are the main things that students are looking for, parents are looking for, and what do you think the main things that school owners should be kind of doing as soon as that person walks in the door, or that kid walks in the door?
We did a whole session on this yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the first thing for us, the first thing we would say is, before you try and find the magic cure, as it were, to the perfect intro lesson, just take a step back and look what's happening right now. Document exactly what the process is right now. Put yourself in the shoes of a prospect, of both the student and the parent, and just watch what happens. Watch when they walk through, who greets them, where do they sit, what's the interaction, how do the other students react to the prospect. Just document it all first, and then you probably with your own eyes will be able to pinpoint places that you can find improvement. But the obvious things, speaking to the child first before you speak to the parent, showing a genuine concern, genuine care, nurturing, and making it fun. I don't think it can be any more complicated than that. No kid ever left saying, I don't want to join because I had too much fun.
True, yeah.
100%. I think it's that thing, isn't it, of making sure that they're having an experience that's possibly slightly outside what is the norm. Like, obviously you don't want to be giving them something that's so different that they don't know what it's like to really be in your class, but I think also by the same token, you don't want to just go, oh, you stand over there, and they just have a normal class.
Sure.
Like, going up and making sure that they're okay, that they're enjoying it, like maybe calling it out and getting them to pick an activity in the warm-up or something like that, something to make them feel a little bit special. And then it's just small things, and like Lou says, like, yeah, making sure you're communicating both with, if it is a child's class, like the child and the parent, because I think sometimes, and we were chatting about this quite a bit yesterday, like there could sometimes be a disconnect between the information that gets given to a child and the information that gets given to the parent, and I don't think there's sometimes a crossover. So you might get the child really, really excited with all this stuff that you tell them and everything that they're going to learn and going to do, but if the parent doesn't know that, and all the parent gets is, well, we train on a Tuesday and Thursday, and these are the packages that you can sign up to, and that's it.
Sure.
They haven't been brought on that journey of excitement. So I think it's, having a good step back and just looking and seeing actually what do they come out with at the end, and do they have everything they need to make that decision to join.
Yeah, and we were talking about this yesterday, and I think we came to a conclusion that actually the information they get pre-intro is almost as important as the intro itself. So breaking down any barriers possible, any fear factors possible, creating a relationship before they step through the door, making sure that the student's comfortable, in no way scared about doing the intro, And lots of clubs were actually saying that they're super transparent about everything, that before that prospect even walks through the door, they know the price, they know the times, they know the lesson structure, they know what the intro lesson's going to be like, so that when they do walk through the door, you'd have to give them a really bad intro for them to not join.
Yeah. It's almost like they're there and it's a no-brainer. Like, so long as
They
they
know it
enjoy
all.
it's going to be a sign-up, right? And that then also takes the pressure off you as a school owner or an instructor that's running that class, because you've not got a big sales process to go through. You've not suddenly got to start going, oh well, this is all the information, there's that. They've got it up front, they know what it is, they're happy with it at that point. You deliver an amazing lesson, and really the question is, let's get you signed up, not can I convince you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never really thought of it like that, to be fair. Like, I know the way that we've always done it is, if people ask for the pricing and ask for the contact details and things like that, we'll obviously provide them, but we never kind of lead with that. We always lead with the question of, like, how can we help? Like, what are you looking for? You know, whether that's for anti-bullying, confidence, fitness, whatever, or maybe if it's an adult, they want some self-defense, or they want, you know, just to get a bit fitter and build a community. But in terms of the pricing, what do you think about advertising that beforehand, like in terms of on your website or things like that? Or do you think that's a better conversation to have with people that are leads and are kind of looking to actively get booked in anyway?
I personally think it's beneficial to be open and transparent and proactively and voluntarily transparent about the pricing. I think in this day and age, we're being marketed to and sold to every second of the day. And I think when people are cagey about the price, we lose trust immediately. And there's 1,000 other competitors that we can go to now. So I think being as open and transparent prior creates more of a relationship of trust.
Sure.
And actually, what you guys do and the price you charge, it's never going to be expensive. You're never going to outprice yourself. And you're not just giving them the price, you're giving them the price along with the value, the structure, the benefits, you know, all of that. And all of that together coupled up, you know, it really is a no-brainer.
And I think it's that kind of wrapping back around to what we were talking about in terms of, are you looking at leads or are you looking at sign-ups?
Yeah.
I totally get that the instinct is I want as many people to come to a trial as is physically possible. But if you've got people that are coming to that trial and their kind of financial situation means that they can't afford what you're offering, and they don't find out about that until the point of after a trial, you can then find yourself in that awkward situation of a child that's really, really excited, a parent that's having to go, oh, well, actually, no. Sure. It becomes a really kind of difficult conversation, and the parent doesn't know what to do, and they're kind of wanting to get out of there as quick as possible. And the, not damage that does to your brand, but they're then leaving with almost like a negative feeling, versus actually if ahead of time they know, they can then make that decision to go, well, actually, yes, this is in my budget, that's fine. If they love it, we're good to go. Yeah. Rather than the parents sitting there watching the class the whole time, being like, oh my goodness, look how much they're enjoying this is great, with it constantly in the back of their mind going, oh God, how much is this going to be? I don't know, I'm not sure. Like, you remove that doubt, and as much, like, the whole point of marketing and sales and all that sort of thing, if we're getting really blunt about it, is you're removing doubt. That's what you're doing. So that then the decision to join is obvious. So the more you can do that ahead of time, I think is really helpful. But I know it is a divisive topic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, it makes complete sense. Like, yeah, complete sense. I think, like you said, the more barriers you can get out of the way, and the easier it is for someone to say yes. Obviously, then your sign-up rate's going to go up, isn't it? And obviously, pricing is one of those things. So yeah, as you say, if you could be as transparent at the start, your quality of lead is going to be better than going into that intro. Because as you rightly say, as long as you do a great class, they're already there. They're signed up. It's done. You know, all those barriers have been removed. Yeah. Awesome. What do you guys think about AI then? Obviously, AI is a huge topic at the moment, and it's a topic that breaches into kind of every industry, I suppose, and what AI can do, if it's going to replace, you know, some of our day-to-day tasks. Is it already replacing some of our day-to-day tasks? And then specifically, how can martial artists kind of use AI to help them, kind of with those day-to-day tasks, I suppose. That's the easiest way of putting it. But yeah, what have you guys found? Because obviously it's evolving so quickly. Like 6 months ago, ChatGPT wasn't doing the same things as 6 months, you know.
Yeah.
in the future it's going to be doing another thing.
I think from a marketing perspective, I have probably I would describe as a love-hate relationship with AI, in that I love it from the perspective of idea generation, and that I've got a blank page, I need to create some copy for an advert, or I know I need to do my social posts for the next few weeks and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Having AI to then provide you with ideas, to provide you with a starting point, is absolutely amazing. And I think that's fantastic for club owners, because like, marketing's my career, that's what I do, I know it, but in the same way that I couldn't go and teach a black belt class, I don't expect that somebody that's owning a school to be a marketing expert. So the fact that AI can kind of bridge that and give you those ideas, where I get the kind of more negative side of it is I'm increasingly seeing the same posts with the same copy, the same design of imagery. Like, AI seems to go down these pathways, and you'll see all restaurant type posts look the same, and all sporting type posts look the same, and all martial arts posts, they all look very similar. So I think it's about that, using it as idea generation, but not just going, give me a post and this, and copy and pasting and using it, because I think people are getting more and more savvy to it. There's a tone to AI, there's a way it writes.
The
a lot of adjectives, a lot of short sentences. So
it's not this, it's this.
100%. And I think even if people aren't consciously noticing it, they're starting to subconsciously realise everything sounds the same. So idea generation, fantastic. Just copying and pasting stuff, I don't think is great. So I think using it as a basis and then tweaking and changing and adding stuff in is definitely the way to go, because that kind of speeds up the time heavy bit of idea generation. So you've got all that sorted, and by all means tell it, write all these posts for me, but just get the information and then write it in your voice, because it needs to be your tone, right? It needs to be your business's tone. It needs to be how your club and how you speak and what you do, rather than it just being this generic.
I think you can train it to an extent as well, though. I mean, I think if you're going to commit to it, then commit to it properly. Use it, pay for it, and then train it to speak in your voice, because that's where the biggest impact will come from. I think if you're just going to use it here and there and it's not learning from you, then you're going to end up with something really generic. I think clients that I know have been really benefiting from it, and that we've been really benefiting as well in helping clients, it's just like, I want to say the really boring stuff, like I need a policy for this, or I need a risk assessment template for this, or I need, that's the admin stuff that, God, no one wants to do, let alone a
That's
school
it, isn't it? Like the background stuff that's not really front of house, but it's just, it needs to be done.
Absolutely. But it could do some really interesting stuff. I mean, we, Leonie will get clients to plumb a client's website into AI and say, give me all your recommendations, have a look through. I want this to be a really powerful lead generating website. What are your recommendations for changes that could make it even better? And that's really good. That's a really nice use of it. LinkedIn as well is a really nice use. So I know a lot of club owners don't make the most of LinkedIn, but actually in looking for example, people who work in schools, business owners, if you're looking for more adults to teach, or even kids of adults in the area, LinkedIn is a great place to be.
Interesting. I don't use that at all. Interesting. And what kind of content would you be putting out on LinkedIn? Do you think that you have to differentiate between like the Facebook post and then the LinkedIn post and the Instagram post? Because obviously some are more visual, I suppose. The LinkedIn is the more professional side of it. So how would you kind of segment them off?
I've seen on LinkedIn, club owners, so LinkedIn is more of an informational tool, right? It's a resource hub. I've seen some clients use it really well to be a point of expertise. So, what people would do in this scenario, how we help kids, the benefits of movement and sports, and this psychological report has proved that children improve by X% if they try. So that kind of tap on the LinkedIn route, and then building that persona on LinkedIn, builds this kind of expert in the community. And then when someone in their community sees them, then that's the place to go. But probably more for contacts. So reaching out specifically to contacts and saying, hey, we've got a club here. I'm happy to offer you half price for your first few months. Drop down and give it a go. So it's good for finding connections.
Yeah, and increasingly things like if you're operating in an area where there's big businesses that are there, so like anything like national or kind of like quite large businesses, they'll tend to have like well-being officers and like parts of their HR department will be about like staff engagement and things like that. So LinkedIn's a really good resource to be able to find those people and drop them a message and say, hey, we have a club that's just around the corner from where you guys are based, so all of your staff members, did you know we do an adults class that starts at 5:15? It's perfect for people leaving work. We're happy to give people a discount. Like it's all the sort of stuff that where it works really well for targeting adults, because it's what a lot of gyms and things like that do. So then you can, martial arts is a great one to kind of pitch as the gym alternative. Like if you're not the kind of person that wants to run on a treadmill and lift weights all day, martial arts is far more engaging. So therefore, if you can, like a lot of gyms get into that corporate world by offering discounts and things, so there's no reason that the martial arts can't sit alongside that.
Absolutely, yeah, really good idea. I'm definitely going to take that on board, so thank you. You guys have given like so much information, I think, over the past kind of, snippet of this and the previous podcast. Kind of sum it up for us, I suppose, in terms of what Nest can offer to martial arts business owners.
Do you want me to have a go?
Go on. We'll tag team.
In a snippet, I guess we are an ecosystem for club owners. We really want club owners to thrive, not just survive. We believe that the impact that club owners have on their communities and on society as a whole is so powerful that they deserve to thrive from it, and we aim to give them all the tools possible for them to be able to achieve that, to be able to retain clients as long as possible, and to be able to take on as many students as they possibly can. We know that that's not always their expertise, and that getting on the mats and teaching is absolutely their area of expertise. So our job is to provide this blanket around you, I guess, give you all the tools necessary to be successful. Whatever success looks like for you, we want genuine success for you.
Perfect. From start to finish as well.
I think that's good, yeah. So I think if you talk about the kind of the literal part of it, we've got all the products, the system, we've got the CRM system, the events, attendance tracking, collection, all that sort of stuff. But I think sometimes where I see Nest as a little bit different to a lot of those other products with that is that we've got the people, and we literally are a family business, but also it's a very kind of nurturing environment. So like I've this morning spent 45 minutes on the phone with a client helping talk them through a marketing strategy because they've got questions. And I think that's what we provide that's probably a little bit different, is that if you've got a question about marketing, there's me and my team that you can call and have a chat about, and we'll train you in Facebook ads if you need that. Or if you've got a question about policies and legal, we've got our compliance team and they'll help you. Like we are that kind of voice at the end of a phone, because I think running a business, like quite often there's a lot of people that it's either you or it's you running a small team. So we try to be that team around you rather than you just being on your own heading up at the top, basically.
Yeah, I can absolutely vouch for that as well. I've been down to see you guys a few times in Nottingham and you've helped me out countless times.
And you should come more.
Yeah, I know. I need to make use, definitely. Guys, thank you so much. It's been really, really good. I'm sorry it took 2 sessions because of technology issues, as always. Is there anything that either of you want to say to kind of wrap it up and speak to anyone who's kind of listening, who's either thinking of starting a martial arts school maybe, or maybe they're already running one, but maybe they're struggling, or maybe they're doing really successful, but they want to kind of spread out a little bit more and take it to the next level?
I would say have a conversation with us. No obligations whatsoever. We love speaking to school owners. I've been here 20 years and I've learned so much from you guys, people who are with us and who aren't. So you know, you're more than welcome to get on the phone to us and have a chat, just an exploration call. But also just keep doing what you're doing, because you are changing so many lives. It's so impactful what you do. We have absolute respect.
Yeah, and I think
what you guys do, and
you're not on your own. Make the most of the communities that are out there, whether that's like we've got ones that we run, but there's so much out there that is martial arts business owners like linking together and make the most of that, because I think the power is in sharing that information.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask. Like, that's one thing that I've worked in lots of different industries, and that's one thing that always makes me really proud to be part of a martial arts industry, is that everybody is so helpful to others and will always want to share ideas and help other people to succeed, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. So if you're not, make sure you're taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Louisa, Victoria, thank you so much for taking the time to obviously speak to me. It's been really, really good. Thank you for so much information, and thank you for what you do with Nest as well. I know both of you work super hard, and you're always at the end of a phone or the end of an email, etc. So yeah, thank you both so much. I know that you help loads and loads of martial arts schools around the UK. So thanks for everything you do.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us on. It's been great.
No problem at all. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye. Dan's frozen. I mean, if this is still recording, we could just talk for hours, Vic. Anyone who's watching this.
We could just keep going. Oh, it's fully gone. Can I pause this? I don't even think we can pause this. It's gonna be
what a viewer experience. I'm so sorry, viewer, if you're watching this bit in the middle.
Hopefully you can cut this in the middle.
I'm sure Dan can edit this bit out.
I hope so.